Howdy, y'all. I'm here with Maddie, and we're going to talk about Epictetus some more.
We are going to talk about epic titties.
Do you want to plug yourself?
I allow you to plug me generally.
Oh, okay. This is Maddie. Subscribe to Objectively Subjective. The link is in the description. And what's your channel about, Maddie?
That's not exactly the kind of plugging that I was talking about. But what is my channel about? My channel is about talking about subjects and making the videos and hoping people do the watching.
Excellent. That's almost as bad as one of my plugs.
Yeah.
Yay!
I'm amazing.
You are amazing.
And that's what I am.
Definitely. Well, what did we talk about last week? Do you remember?
We talked about epic titties.
Well, yeah, but what did Epictetus discuss?
Epictetus discussed a lot of stuff, like
duties and
duty. You said duty.
Duty. And also like circumstance and situations.
Circumstance, situations, stuff, and things, and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of that stuff. All right, so we are in section 31. Be assured that the essential property of piety toward the gods is to form right opinions concerning them, as existing, and as governing the universe with goodness and justice, and fix yourself in this resolution, to obey them and yield to them, and willingly follow them in all events, as produced by the most perfect understanding. Well, I don't believe in gods, but I mean, if that's my understanding, so
yeah, like go ahead and finish. Go through this, and then I'll talk about like the modern interpretation of this.
Okay. For thus you will never find fault with the gods, nor accuse them as neglecting you. And it is not possible for this to be effected any other way than by withdrawing yourself from things not in our own control, and placing good or evil in those which are. For if you suppose any of the things not in our own control to be either good or evil, when you're disappointed of what you wish or incur what you would avoid, you would necessarily find fault with and blame the authors. For every animal is naturally formed to fly and abhor things that appear hurtful, and the causes of them, and to pursue and admire those which appear beneficial, and the causes of them. It is impractical, then, that one who supposes himself to be hurt should be happy about the person who, he thinks, hurts him, just as it is impossible to be happy about the hurt itself. Hence, also a father is reviled by a son, when he does not impart to him the things which he takes to be good, and the supposing empire to be made good by Polynices and Eteocles? I'm terrible with these names, guys. I'm so sorry. Mutually enemies. On this account, the husbandman, the sailor, the merchant, on this account, those who lose wives and children revile the gods. For where interest is, there too is piety placed, so that whoever is careful to regulate his desires and aversions as he ought is, by the very same means, careful of piety likewise. But it is also incumbent upon everyone to offer libations and sacrifices and first fruits, comfortably to the customs of his country, with purity, and not in a slovenly manner, nor negligently, nor sparingly, nor beyond his ability.
Okay, so yeah, we're both atheists. And so we don't believe in gods or God. But this is kind of along the lines of someone that attributes everything good that happens to God and everything bad that happens to like the devil. But in the more modern interpretation that we could take would be take life for what it is. And if you're going through a hard time or a struggle, don't try to find outside excuses for why things are going bad.
Right.
Make the changes that need to be made in your own life to get you away from that situation, or get you to a better place. And don't attribute these things to like fate that is controlling you or throwing you around like the wind.
Mhm.
Realize that you have personal responsibility for your life.
Right. I kind of see it that way too. I mean, like, there are certain things, even if you're a materialist, that you could take from this as far as the wisdom within it. That is to say that you know what's within your control and what isn't. And the natural world isn't necessarily under your control. So there are circumstances that you are responsible for. And all the rest of it is just kind of life, right? So it's best to just kind of let that go. And as difficult as it is,
Yeah.
you have to move beyond that. You have to move beyond the trap that we often fall into of blaming whoever. You know, that's often something that we get caught in, right? We get caught in this whole, well, it can't be my fault. It's got to be someone else. And why is my life so shitty? It's just always shitty, and it's going to be shitty. And if you have that attitude toward life, yeah, it's going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So there's if you're able to accept that there's going to be some stuff in life that sucks, then it's easier to just let it go and accept the things that you can change or
Yeah, and
can't change.
I kind of want to address Callan in the chat said this assumes free will. The Stoics actually were strict determinists.
Yeah.
They didn't believe in free will. They believed that fate was what guided you to and fro things. But you should never complain about fate, because it's just the natural order of how things turn out. Um, they were yeah, um, they were kind of different in the schools of philosophy back then because they were deterministic, and
Right.
not believers in free will.
Right. And when you're reading an old philosophical text, it's best to keep in mind that in the environment that they had with the knowledge that was available to them, they were working with that. We have
Yeah.
moved beyond some of this stuff. Other things still remain, and that's perfectly fine. But yeah, I mean, we might not agree that there are gods or fate or karma or any sort of thing like that. And that doesn't really matter because what does matter is what's within our control and what isn't,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Okay. When you have recourse to divination, remember that you know not what the event will be, and you come to learn of it, come to learn it of the diviner. But of what nature is it you know before you come, at least if you're a philosopher? For if it is among the things not in our own control, it can by no means be either good or evil. Don't, therefore, bring either desire or aversion with you to the diviner, else you will approach him trembling. But first acquire a distinct knowledge that every event is indifferent and nothing to you, of whatever sort it may be, for it will be within your power to make right use of it, and this no one can hinder. I want to repeat this: no one can hinder. Then come with confidence to the gods as your counselors, and afterward, when any counsel is given, remember what counselors you have assumed, and to those gods as your oh, my eyes skipped, and whose advice you will neglect if you disobey. Come to divination as Socrates prescribed, in cases in which the whole consideration relates to the event, and in which no opportunities are afforded by reason or any other art to discover the thing proposed to be learned. When, therefore, it is our duty to share the danger of a friend or of our own country, we ought not to consult the oracle whether we will share it with them or not. For though the diviner should forewarn you that the victims are unfavorable, this means no more than that either death or mutilation or exile is pretended. But we have reason within us, and it directs, even with these hazards, to the great diviner, the Pythian god, who cast out of the temple the person who gave no assistance to his friend, while another was murdering him.
Okay, so once again, this is one that we're atheists. We don't believe in gods, and like we're both naturalists, so we don't believe in the supernatural.
Right.
But from this, what you can take is don't have undue expectations
Right.
of anything that's coming up. Like if you're expecting a friend to come by and they're like late,
Ugh, that's the worst.
realize that they're late. And I assume Trey doesn't watch this. But Mr. B to the Aldwin, if he says he's going to be at your house at 5, it's going to be 7, possibly 8.
Oh my God, I've had so many friends that were like that.
And at first that used to really piss me off, but now anytime he says, I'll be there around 3, I'm like 5. Okay.
Yeah, you come to expect it whenever, and that's kind of the good thing about having the ability to reason. You can notice these patterns and prepare yourself for this kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And
That's the thing. It's like now it doesn't bug me. I don't have undue expectations of, okay, so if he's going to be here at 3, we'll go and do this at 3:30. No, I'm like, I won't make any plans until 5.
And I do want to say something that might be a thing where we have a bit of contention and we disagree.
Oh no.
And I know that you won't like this.
I'm gonna have to cancel you.
Deplatformed. But I do think there is some utility in divination. And I know that sounds weird, but we do have in our natural realm in the world an ability to have intuition. So when it comes to divination, I see it more as a way of basically your subconscious communicating something you already have picked up on. And yeah, that's
contention. I mean, if you're just going with intuition, I don't see why I'd have any contention with that. But intuition is just really past events and at putting it to current events.
Yeah, because like me, I forget things, like consciously forget things, but I know it's like locked in my brain somewhere.
Yes.
And there are a lot of things, a lot of stimuli that we're exposed to that we don't really consciously notice, but we do somehow pick up on because we're just really more aware of things, or at least on like a lower, not a lower level, but a back of your mind kind of level. We sense things. And I think it's important to recognize that. I think it's important to balance your ability to reason with your intuitive ability.
It's like you sense whenever I've been in a room, but that's not divination.
Yeah, that's the fart smell. Definitely.
Hey, I will read the next one.
Well, you know what? I do want to just to kind of touch on this intuitive kind of thing.
Oh, fine.
A lot of times,
yeah, this is your channel.
Yeah, it's my channel, so I get to do whatever the fuck I want. So when it comes to you come to me often and you go, I don't know where my blah 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 is, right? And I'll be like, oh, it's here or there, right? This happens a lot. I just kind of like know where shit is, and I've had this kind of thing happen a lot. Like one time, I had a corn snake that escaped their cage. And yeah, that was really scary. And so I looked around really frantically, but then I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to meditate. And as I was meditating, I kind of got like this picture in my head of where the snake was. And I know that sounds crazy and I can't explain it. But sure enough, I went outside, and it was like a trailer, and it was underneath the trailer. Like right there, exactly as I saw it in my mind. And I have no idea how it worked, but it did.
I can know how this worked.
How did it work?
You lived in Texas. Texas is horrifically hot.
Yeah.
It would be cooler under your trailer.
Yes.
And it got near where there was probably condensation coming off the air conditioner.
Yeah, it was right by the air
And
conditioner.
so
Yeah.
that's how you knew, because you knew cooler, darker,
Yeah.
moisture.
But like,
There.
I didn't consciously know
I
that.
bet you did. I bet you did.
I didn't.
Oh, you did too.
I had to.
I'm just playing with you.
I had to like come to a place where it didn't matter so much in order to get that kind of knowledge. You know what I mean? I had to let it go before I knew it, before I realized it. So it's kind of funny how that works.
Yes.
You want to read this next one?
Oh my God, it's much longer than I thought it was going to be.
Look how long that is.
Oh my. Oh, I have messed up. Oh, this is like.
This is great.
Listen, dude, who wrote this down thousands of years ago. These should be their own bullet points. What is wrong with you doing this? No. Okay. So immediately, and I will say hello to some random geek. Hi, some random geek. It's nice to have you here. But immediately prescribe some character and form of conduce to yourself. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to say conduct to yourself.
Yeah,
which you may keep
typos in this.
Yes. Which you may keep both alone and in company. And so what that means is decide on something that you can do both when you're alone and when you're outside. So if you're like, I'm not going to drink, and you can do that in your house, or don't do it in your house if you're saying you're not going to do it in public. Don't try to hide stuff. Be for the most part silent, or speak merely what is necessary and in few words. We may, however, enter, though sparingly, into discourse sometimes when occasion calls for it, but not on any of the common subjects, the gladiators, or horse races, or athletic champions, or feasts, the vulgar topics of conversation, but principally not of men, so as either to blame or praise or make comparisons. If you are able, then, by your own conversation, bring over that of your company to proper subjects. But if you happen to be taken among strangers, be silent. So that's saying make sure that like we can get heated when we start talking about sports. Like a lot of times people
Come at me, bro. Dallas Cowboys. Ooh.
No. But it's just saying try to keep your speech to a minimum so you don't make an ass of yourself. Don't allow your laughter to be much, nor on many occasions, nor profuse. I fuck this up all the time.
Same. Like I fuck all this up. Like every time we talk, every episode, I say I fuck this up because it's what I do.
Well, and this has much more to do with the culture of the time than it does with anything wrong with laughter. Basically, if you were somebody that laughed a lot in public, you were thought of as low class or foolish.
Yeah.
And so it's saying try not to laugh, to not look foolish. Avoid swearing if possible altogether, if not as far as you are able. Fuck that, Epictetus. Avoid public and vulgar entertainments, but if ever an occasion calls you to them, keep your attention upon the stretch, that you may not imperceptibly slide into vulgar manners. For be assured that if a person be ever so sound himself, yet in his companion be infected, he who converses with him will be infected likewise. Once again, just try to remain above vulgarity. Provide things relating to the body no further than mere use, as meat, drink, clothing, house, family, but strike off and reject everything relating to show and delicacy.
So there we have the principle of moderation, right? One of the 4 cardinal virtues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's saying on that, just be in moderation and don't do anything for show or just delicacy. Like a
Like,
lot of people spend money in order to show off.
yeah, like that dude that had like 90 whatever Rolls Royces. What was his name? Oh, show.
Yeah.
I
Um,
am the rich man's guru.
so as far as possible before marriage, keep yourself pure from familiarities with women. And if you indulge them, let it be lawfully, but don't therefore be troublesome and full of reproofs to those who use these liberties, nor frequently boast that you yourself don't. Uh, don't be a horn dog or boast that you're not a horn dog.
I'm totally not a whore. I'm totally not.
And like this is again, a lot of this stuff here is cultural. So it deals much more with the culture and the philosophy
See,
at the time.
it's from what I know of Greek and Roman culture, especially like the elite class. This is definitely shit they needed to hear.
Mm-hmm. Well, they were very much, I mean, it was very sexual. The Romans and the Greeks, and so people would look at this and be like, oh, well, that's awful, so let's do something else. And yeah, so
I'll meet you at the public bath. Wink, wink.
yeah. It is not necessary for you to appear often at public spectacles, but if ever there is a proper occasion for you to be there, don't appear more solicitous for anyone than for yourself. That is, wish things to be only just as they are, and him only to conquer who is the conqueror. For thus you will meet with no hindrance, but abstain entirely from declamations and derision and violent emotions, and when you come away, don't discourse a great deal of what is past, and what does not contribute to your own amendment, for it would appear by such discourse that you were moderately struck with the show.
Well, I fail with this too. I'm always like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you ever watch me watch a Chiefs game, like I do not remain calm. Like, what the fuck is that referee doing? Oh my god!
No, it's usually the refs because the Chiefs fucking don't know how to get their penalties under control.
I know.
It's the fucking truth. I'm sorry.
It's true.
But
but it's trying, just like this is trying to say how you can respect yourself more in public, and be someone that doesn't appear to be foolish or drawn away by spectacle. Go not of your own accord to the rehearsals of any authors, nor appear at them readily. But if you do appear, keep your gravity and sedateness, and at the same time avoid being morose. Once again, the exact same thing as before. When you're going to confer with anyone, oh, now you're moving it.
I'm sorry.
When you are going to confer with anyone, and particularly of those in the superior station, represent to yourself how Socrates or Zeno would behave in such a case, and you will not be at a loss to make a proper use of whatever may occur.
I just want to say fuck you for getting the easy names.
Yeah, it's just saying accept whatever happens.
Well, it's also highlighting that if you are having discourse with someone who is knowledgeable or who is like above you in rank, say like if you're in the army or if you're if you have a boss or whatever, kind of thing, any kind of authority figure, to represent yourself well, that way you can gain respect and respect yourself. I mean, that's ultimately what all of this stuff is about, because Stoicism is very much an esoteric kind of thing. It's about cultivating a better you.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you are going to any of the people in power, represent to yourself that you will not find him at home, that you will not be admitted, that the doors will not be open to you, that he will take no notice of you. If with all this it is your duty to go, bear what happens, and never say to yourself, it was not worth so much, for this is vulgar, and like a man dazed by external things. Right? If you ever find that you're blocked on social media,
Oh.
don't be like, why has he blocked me?
Oh my God! He
yeah, it's
blocked
just
me.
like realize other people have lives, and you may show up and they won't want to see you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In parties of conversation, avoid a frequent and excessive mention of your own actions and dangers. For however agreeable it may be to yourself to mention the risks you have run, it is not equally agreeable to others to hear your adventures.
Nobody cares.
Avoid, likewise, an endeavor to excite laughter, for this is a slippery point, which may throw you into vulgar manners, and besides may be apt to lessen you in the esteem of your acquaintance. Approaches to indecent discourses are likewise dangerous. Whenever, therefore, anything of this sort happens, if there be a proper opportunity, rebuke him who makes advances that way, or at least by silence and blushing and a forbidding look, show yourself to be displeased by such talk. And I'm shit at this too. I like vulgar. I like to swear and make people laugh and all that.
Yeah, fucking butt stuff.
Like, this is probably one of the things that I like just dive away from stoicism on, because they did have this view that comedy and stuff along that, and like I said, it was cultural.
Yeah.
But that this view that any type of comedy was lowly. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's a situation where, I mean, yeah, we've all been in that situation where we've told a joke and then afterwards been like, oh, I shouldn't have told that joke. It was kind of a bad joke. Or like someone, let's just say someone has a podcast, and during this podcast they mention fucking their cat. That probably is not a good idea. It probably got a lot of laughs at that first point, but probably not a good idea. So yeah, that would be that would be an area where comedy was probably not worth it.
Wow. I'd hate to be that person. Well, I think that this has been a good episode. What do you think?
This has been an amazing episode. We have talked about the Epictetus as much as we can talk about.
Yeah, I think 30 minutes of Greek philosophy.
Epictetus, 30 minutes of Epictetus is more than enough.
That's about all the attention that you can hold from an audience anyway, right?
Yes, but look at how short the next few ones are. It's like bam, 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 and it's like
totally reading those next week. Anyway, we are going to have an after show, so stay tuned for that. I'll be starting that very soon. And you want to plug yourself again?
I am objectively subjective. Everyone should subscribe to my channel because I am amazing. And before we end, I would just like to say, clits out and your lips out.
Bye, y'all.